How can you make custom frames on the Canva app? So that's a really good question, and it's pretty hard to do. But there is a free basic frame maker, and there's also a frame maker where you can make your own frame that's paid. So we can access this frame maker by going to the apps. So if we just have our project here, down at the bottom, we can scroll over to the right, and we're going to see the apps. And so if we search for Canva apps, you can actually search for Frame Maker. And that Canva app, once we click on it or search on it, is right here. And there are a couple different options. You can see Frame Maker here, Image to Frame, AI Frames. You could try some of these. Frame Maker is the one that I know. If we click on that, we can actually open this up within our project. And so when we have Frame Maker open, we can create a basic shape here just by moving these points around on this grid. So if you wanted to create, and we can double click or double tap to create like another point, we can add points, we can select points and then scroll down a little bit to remove them. So you can remove points as well. You can also select whether or not to snap to the grid and how many columns the grid has. So you can increase or decrease those columns. And I'm going to go ahead and click this X so we can see the whole thing here. So yeah, as you increase or decrease the columns, you can see them increasing and decreasing right there. But we have grid snapping on, and we have these columns selected, and we can just come in here and create our own little shape. And so with this custom shape, unfortunately, you can't do curves, but we can create sort of just geometric shape. Once we have it created, we can scroll down to the bottom and add it to our design. And so there you go. We have this custom frame that we just created. We can just drop a photo right into it. Now back in Frame Maker, that's free. So that's the free part of it. There's a convert section, and in the convert section, it allows you to create frames out of imagery. And so if you have an image and it's sort of cut out, you can create a frame out of it. We'll play this video right here. So for instance, we could just create any of these and make them into frames just like that. And so you can see how we can take an image and turn it into a frame. So that's the paid version of Frame Maker. And so if you want to, you can subscribe to that. But that's probably one of the better ways to try to create a custom frame. But I think this is pretty cool right here, where you can just create a different geometric frame pretty quickly. And then there's also shapes down here. So you could go to see all and see if anything's created that's a shape that you would want to insert. These might be the basic shapes. No, they're not the basic shapes. So I'm not sure what these are, but they're just some shapes down there you can get started with if you want to. There's different shapes you can create, and then you can convert images to frames with this converter. It's not free, it is paid, but that is one way to make frames here in Canva. And it's pretty easy and free to create basic frames like this arrow that we created, and then you can just replace it with some kind of image. We could find any old photo, select it, and now you can see that photo is inside of that frame. Pretty easy. And so that is how you can create some custom frames here in Canva.